Hello everyone, this is ICBase here, and today is another Sunday that is sacrificed for the sake of making this video. And today we are talking about Velma Season 2 Episode 9. So in the last episode, Velma was kidnapped by some serial killer, and that serial killer is revealed to be Scrappy. But in the first shot, it kind of looks exactly like Scooby-Doo from, like the traditional Scooby-Doo, because it's standing on its hind legs and you kind of see the silhouette of it. It looks exactly like Scooby-Doo. And then they kind of show us a close-up of the face and it kind of looks very much like, Scoob. But then they change everything when they show later that, it's not Scooby-Doo, it's actually Scrappy-Doo. And you know what? I do try to keep myself spoiler free. I know that this show has been out for a while, but it was very hard to avoid the fact that Scrappy was going to somehow pop up in this show because, like I can already see the thumbnails of videos and other people are also making reviews. So I kind of knew that Scrappy was going to be eventually in this show and be the main bad guy of this show. But yeah, seeing Scrappy finally on this show, it's I don't really know what to say because Scrappy was a character that was widely disliked when it first came on, even in the original. Like, Scrappy was a very hateable character. No one liked him, so I'm not really surprised that they decided to make him the villain of this show, which is very odd to see. I mean, Scrappy in the original show was very dislikable. He was annoying, but I would say that he looked cute. Here, he just looks very disturbing. He looks very menacing, very, like, I don't know how to say it. He looks like a middle-aged man that's a dog, which is essentially what this is. But yeah, this is very disturbing. They definitely did a great job on his character design. Like, I want to give credit where credit is due. I don't want to say that everything is bad, but yeah. About this reveal though, like, I don't know what to say. Like, this whole thing and this whole reveal is just so out of nowhere. It's like they are throwing anything that will stick to the wall. So yeah, Scrappy Doo is, I guess, in this show, and I think anything could have happened in this show. So it's like they can put anything in the next episode without properly setting it up in the previous episode. So yeah, apparently Scrappy tells Velma that he is actually a victim of Dawn because he was shunned. You know, he was the alpha, the omega, Scrappy. Everyone liked Scrappy, but Dawn, that sneaky bastard, he was always jealous of Scrappy. So Dawn kind of set Scrappy up and then made him out to be a pariah, made him out to be, a serial killer. And Velma, well, she believes him because some part of Velma is exactly like a middle-aged man transferred into a dog. So Velma can, identify with the dog. She believes in his story, or at least she wants him to think that she does, which, like, it will come into play later on. So after that, Velma gives her blessing to her mother to marry William, which Velma says is part of her plan, which makes absolutely no sense. Like, why does Velma need her mother and William to marry each other? Like, she says that it's integral to her plan, but all she needs is her dad, Amon, to propose to Sophie so that she can bring her dad and, Dawn to some bachelor's party at some, strip club. So that's her plan, to make Dawn and, like, Amon, and get them isolated. That was her goal, but she gives blessing to her mother so that her, biological father, Amon, would be jealous enough so that he would propose to Sophie. It is, like, very bamboozling, to say the least. It makes no sense. I guess the writers really wanted William and Dia to, get together. It's very odd. That's all I'm going to say. Like, there wasn't any need for these two characters to, be engaged, yet they are. It's like the writers wanted them to be engaged. Anyways, moving on. So after Velma gets Dawn and Amon to some strip club, Scrappy comes and he confronts Dawn and he's like, well, sorry Velma, I'm actually the main villain. I am the killer. So Velma there reveals that she never believed Scrappy and she kind of set up the whole thing to get a confession from him, and she gets Scrappy arrested, and Scrappy doesn't look too pissed about it. It seems like he thinks he's born. There's like some evil, mischievous things happening in the shadows. Ignoring that, there's also a subplot where Amber reveals that she was actually working for Dr. Perdue, and yeah, she was hired to see that if Fred's mother Victoria was in fact a ghost, which is in fact true, and she reveals herself to everyone after she hears that William, her former husband, is now engaged to Velma's mother Dia, and everyone can now see that there's an actual ghost there, and she says that she can't rest in peace because she wants to see Fred become a man, and it's a very weird relationship that Fred has with his mother, and after the whole thing, Fred's mother tries to possess him to say like, I'll be the man that you could never be, and then Fred finally rejects his mother and says that I always hated you, and he finally stands up to her, and then Fred's mother is finally at peace because she says that if you can stand up to me, you can stand up to anyone, and she's at peace, and it looks like that she's going to heaven, but instead she goes down into hell, which makes sense. She is an absolutely horrible person. It was very funny, I will give it that. Like, it was good that she went to hell. It was a very funny scene that she's just peacefully going away and then she goes down. I don't know, my comedy sense of humor is just broken like that. I like these kinds of things. But yeah, Fred's mother is apparently gone. She was never a hallucination. And towards the end, there was an Easter egg. And this episode's Easter egg, because I do know that there's going to be one more last episode. So in this episode, it's revealed that Dr. Perdue was actually working with Scrappy, or she was working for Scrappy. I don't know for how long she was working with Scrappy. But yeah, she is in fact evil. I thought that she might actually be a good character, but no, Dr. Perdue is just evil, and she receives the bodies of the three popular girls, and then she calls on the phone, says that she can transfer the consciousness of Scrappy into the bodies of the dead girls, and that she can make it happen. But yeah, that's this episode. There's certainly a lot to unpack here, but I don't want to sit here and talk too much because the longer I talk, the more I have to edit. So and this is a Sunday, and recently I had been working really late nights at my job, so I am really exhausted. So yeah, let's unpack a little bit. We're not trying to unpack too much. Let's, peek into the bag to unpack this episode. Scrappy-Doo. Not something that I would have predicted would happen considering the last couple of episodes. I knew that he was going to show up because he was spoiled to me. But if I didn't knew that Scrappy was going to be in this show, I would have never guessed that he was going to be in this show, which is... like this show, I don't like because of that reason. Like, you never know what's going to happen in the next episode. They can take it in any direction they want without, properly setting things up. I know that they set some things up, but I would have never predicted that it would lead to Scrappy taking those setting up things into account. One more thing that I don't like about these episodes is that there's a lot of filler. Like, the plot is actually very simple, but there's a lot of like filler in between them. For example, when Velma goes to her father to make him propose to her stepmother Sophie, there's a whole filler where Sophie brings diaries, and she has to get approval from Velma, so that Velma doesn't make fun of her, fun of Sophie for the rest of her life. It is I don't know, like, these are bad jokes that I'm calling filler, that makes up the majority of the episode and kind of balloons the runtime of the episode, where the actual nitty-gritty content, the core of the episode, is not as much, but it is just filled with bad jokes. And sometimes they are good, like I mentioned, Fred's mother going into heaven, then she goes down into hell. I like those kinds of jokes. I am a sucker for that kind of a humor. But yeah, So I can't think of anything else to talk about. So I'm not going to push myself to speak any more than I have to. And if you made it this far, I really have to thank you, because you might be the only person on this planet who has watched this video this far. So you are my special someone. Thank you. So, leave a like, a subscribe, and, leave a comment so I know that someone is watching this video. Thank you, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, it's time for goodbye.